Hi again. It is currently. Holy shit, the light's going crazy. Okay. It is currently 4:57 in the morning, and I just can't sleep. Um, I work until from like 6 until around midnight, and so my sleep schedule's all kinds of fucked up, and I look like I have some kind of weird limp eye problem because of the lighting in this room. But since I'm still up and I don't quite know what else to do with myself, I guess I will tell another story about the wonderful world of being a movie theater employee. And the one that kind of sticks out in my head is one from when I was working box office, and it was a really slow day, probably like a Sunday afternoon when we had almost nothing, and we had a popular kids movie at the time, but I can't really remember what it was. I want to say it was Smurfs, but I know that's not what it was. Sorry, you're just watching me yawn. But this older woman comes up, and we get her pretty regularly, and she's kind of a little snippy, but nothing ever really bad. It's just, oh, these prices are really high, or why aren't you $1? You used to be $1, that kind of stuff. And she comes up by herself, and she wants to get 2 tickets to this movie, and during the previous showing, the first showing of the day, it got caught, the film got caught, and burned a hole in it, and the film wraps around the center thing. It's called a brain wrap. When it brain wraps, it's so bad because we didn't notice it for a while, I guess, and it got so bad it was taking us like an hour to get it fixed, which, oh my god, which, if it takes more than like 5 or 10, 15 minutes to get a brain wrap fixed, your showings are pretty much screwed unless, you have the time to fix them during the previous showtime. But we didn't have that kind of time, so we were still fixing it at the time, and I was telling everybody, oh, I'm sorry, but we're not going to be showing this particular showing. We just haven't put the technical difficulties sign up or anything, but this is what happened, and I'm sorry. Sorry for any inconvenience. We can't show it. And she looked at me with a really stern face for a second and said, I can't believe this, and then mutters to herself and walks off. I'm like, okay, it's not the worst reaction I've ever gotten from somebody about a movie being sold out or canceled due to technical difficulties. But it's odd. So she leaves, and a couple of minutes later she comes back with a very little girl, and she said, this is my granddaughter's birthday, and you're telling me that we can't go see this movie on her birthday when that's all she wants to do. I promised her that we could go and see this movie. Like, well, ma'am, I'm sorry. As I said before, there's nothing we can do about it. Maybe the next showing will be okay, but I can't promise anything on that either. It could just be permanently down for the day, maybe even a couple days. But she's like, no, if you're gonna have it to where she can't go see the movie she wants to see, you can tell her she can't see it. That makes perfect sense. It's not like I'm out to destroy children's dreams by saying you can't go watch Smurfs or whatever other movies kids want to go see. Kids honestly make less mess than adults, so I couldn't really give a crap less. So she's looking up at me, and I'm like, ma'am, and she just kind of points at the little girl like, no, tell her. tell her. And I just look at her and, like, she's not even really paying attention to me, so I had to, like, well, honey, like you're just so excited about going to see a movie that you can't see that I don't know what to tell you. But, I'm sorry, but the movie, trying to put it in as simple terms as I possibly can. Just, sorry, honey, the movie caught on fire, and we can't play it. It's not playing anymore. And she just looks up at me like, huh? Like, she doesn't know what's going on. She's too young to understand what any of that means. And, like, I'm sorry, we aren't showing the movie. And the grandma goes, she's saying you can't see the movie on your birthday. And I just look at the woman like, are you insane? What are you... And then the girl automatically, like, her face goes from... And she starts sobbing. And I feel so bad for this little girl. And, you know, I'm trying to keep a straight face and all because her grandma is a piece of shit. But I just look at her like, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I don't know what to do about it, I can't play it, so nothing I say is going to fix it. What I should have said, if it was on the tip of my tongue before they actually walked off, after the grandmother said, I hope you're happy with yourself, what I should have said, there was a Toys R Us right across the street. I should have totally just turned that shit around. I mean, hindsight. But I was so close. I was so close to saying it. If she would just stayed there a second longer, I would have just, oh well, I'm sorry you can't see your movie, but if your grandma's really nice, maybe she'll go over and get you a big nice toy over at Toys R Us across the street. Like, I don't know. That, for some reason, that story was in my head just a second ago, so. Yep. That's the story for the day. Okay. I don't have anything else. I'll probably go to bed soon. Hope with any luck, anyway. Hopefully I'll go to bed soon. Yeah. Not really any recent stories. Stuff's been kind of calm recently at the theater. But I'll think of more.